Hey everyone, and welcome back to another severe storm thermal weather forecast. In this forecast, we have an active pattern ramping up, so let's get right into it without further ado. Taking a look here at our jet stream across the country, okay? This afternoon and evening, we're watching for the potential of severe thunderstorms across areas of the northern plains, okay, like right into this vicinity here. And then we're also watching this vicinity for the potential of some stronger thunderstorms as well. Maybe even down here into the southeast with the ridge periphery or the periphery of that ridge in the Gulf. Okay, so that's something to monitor closely. Not a big time severe weather event in any of these areas, but could definitely have some pretty gusty storms later on today. And there is the potential of some isolated tornado activity in those zones, specifically the northern plains as well. As we head into the daytime hours tomorrow, this low pressure system will begin to move into the southern Canadian prairies. Strong to severe thunderstorms will likely be a possibility as we head in towards North Dakota, South Dakota, and Minnesota, maybe extending into Wisconsin into the overnight hours as this area of high pressure begins to establish itself and starts to yank up some Gulf moisture into the plains and upper Midwest. These areas will still be dry, so no thunderstorm activity expected there, but areas of the upper Midwest definitely are going to start getting into the thick of things. And then as we head into Thursday, this pattern will be in full swing, okay? We're going to have this ring of fire pattern, okay? We now officially would have this ring of fire pattern in place and going by this time frame, okay? High pressure system in the southeast, bringing up moisture into the central plains, the northern plains and stuff like that, okay? Moisture isn't going to immediately launch into the Great Lakes. It's going to take its time, okay? Because we still have, got to think about it too. We also have this low, so we also have this influence over here. I'm still kind of keeping things a little bit dry. However, over here, it's going to start getting pretty dang humid as we head in towards late Thursday afternoon, and there could be some strong to severe thunderstorms in this vicinity within those, okay? So that's something to really keep an eye on there. For that time frame. As we head in towards Friday, an even bigger day of severe weather could set up, okay? I know it looks more zonal, but this is the type of pattern we're in. It's that ring of fire pattern. We're actually going to have a trough of low pressure. There could be some stronger thunderstorms in Texas and stuff like that, but I think the main zones to watch out for Friday would be this area right here, okay? Where I think an MCS is pretty prevalent. I think an MCS is very likely in this area, okay? And it would likely dive southeast into Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, overnight, so on and so forth, okay? This is the type of pattern we're going to be in, and same as we headed towards Saturday, except a bit further east, okay? We're watching a complex, okay? We're going to have this high-pressure system down here. It's going to be yanking up a good bit of moisture, okay, into the Ohio Valley, into the Great Lakes and stuff. This area where the high pressure itself is still pretty dry. However, right where this jet energy is flowing, like right into here, this is where I'd be concerned for perhaps maybe another MCS as we headed towards Saturday, where it formed probably in Wisconsin, Illinois, and then would dive southeast through Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania into the overnight hours, producing damaging wind gusts. So that's something to monitor closely. Pattern definitely supports it. And then as we head in towards Sunday, June 7th, we're likely going to see the Omega Blot pattern try to come back, okay? That could potentially give this area a good shot at some rain and thunderstorms. Probably not severe weather, with the the lack of wind energy showing on this model, but anything is possible. This is just an ensemble model, and things can certainly change this far out. I do also want to note there could be some severe weather in the high plains pretty much daily if this were to occur. Okay, so we'd be talking about potentially the high plains back up into the the northern plains and stuff like that. These areas will likely dry out somewhat again if this verifies, but look at this, another shift in the pattern as we head in towards perhaps the third week of June. Okay, perhaps around June 13th, we get this high pressure system to sweep back here. We get this flow over top the ridge that kind of were to probably support MCS and derecho potential in this entire area, okay? So that's absolutely something to monitor. And you notice how that pattern just stays as it, it continues to kind of just train moisture through this area as this jet energy over top the ridge flows and does its thing, okay? A derecho or two could potentially occur in this region if this pattern were to verify. Not a definite thing, but certainly something to keep an eye on as we head in towards the third week of June. All right, now let's take a look here at the precipitation trends as we take a look at this upcoming pattern, okay? Again, as I mentioned before, thunderstorms are likely to blow off in this entire vicinity as we headed towards this afternoon and evening with all severe hazards possible. Daily, after your daily pop-up shower thunderstorm routine chances down here across the southeast with some severe weather possible wherever that jet energy is strongest, like in this area, perhaps in this area we could see something. So definitely just monitor things, not looking at an overall big severe threat as mentioned before, but you definitely got to be staying weather aware. As thunderstorms at the least are possible. As we head in towards tomorrow, thunderstorms, some showers are likely up and down this vicinity with the potential of an organized severe thunderstorm threat in this area right here, okay? There could be supercells that try to form ahead of this main line, and that would be needing to watch for strong tornado potential. Okay, there is that potential as we headed towards tomorrow afternoon. And then as we head in towards Thursday, we'd be watching overall this entire area for the potential of some generalized showers and thunderstorms in the heating of the day. But like I said before, wherever that jet energy is firing up against that ridge in the south, that's going to fire off severe thunderstorms, potentially in the form of mesoscale convective systems and several clusters of storms as well. Okay, and as we headed towards Friday, like I said before, watching for perhaps a more significant severe weather event across this area. Okay, some sort of complex to develop in here and probably dive southeast. Okay, there might even be several complexes that try to dive southeast into these areas. Okay, so definitely monitor things if you live in those areas. As we headed towards Saturday, same thing, except further east, the potential perhaps more thunderstorm clusters and maybe a MCS or two across this circled area, all the way really from Illinois all the way to New York. I would watch that closely. And then as we head in towards Sunday, uncertain as to what could happen, just lots of showers and thunderstorms though at the least across this area. Also across this area, okay, with that jet energy, we could see severe weather across the mid-Atlantic and up here across the northern plains and high plains, we could see that. And as we head in, deeper into this time frame, again, like I said before, as we head, towards the 12th and 13th, we're going to get this high pressure system to set up stage. And what that's going to do is that's going to start dragging in not only Pacific moisture, but Gulf moisture as well. And that's going to likely create the potential of derechos in this area, okay? The derecho potential is, elevated in these areas with this type of pattern. So you definitely want to be staying weather aware, okay? Where they occur, very uncertain, but they could definitely occur. And when they do, they could cause some big problems, okay? So definitely a more active pattern and definitely bigger severe thunderstorm chances in the near future. All right, now let's take a look at our near-term severe weather threats across the country, okay? Again, as mentioned before, as we headed towards this afternoon and evening, we're going to be watching this entire area for the potential of a more organized zone for severe weather when it comes to damaging winds, hail, and the potential of isolated tornadoes, which could become strong EF2 or greater. And then down here across the southern plains and the southeast, this is where we're going to have garden variety thunderstorms that pop up in the daily afternoon heating of the day. Some of these could turn strong, especially across the southeast where we have some sort of flow happening here, okay? Some gusty winds, small hail, and the potential of maybe some heavy downpours, definitely a possibility. And then as we head into tomorrow, we're likely going to do it all over again with the potential of more organized severe weather in these northern zones and more popcorn variety activity, if you will, down here across the southern plains, which could still turn strong to severe in marginal nature. And then as we head in towards Thursday afternoon and evening, we're likely going to be watching this entire area right into here. Okay, any storms that form in this area on Thursday afternoon could definitely be pretty potent, especially in this area right here where we have the jet energy, there could be some pretty decently organized storm complexes, one or more of them that would need to be monitored. And then as we head in towards Friday, this is when I'd anticipate a more significant threat. Okay, why? Well, this is when the high pressure system is likely going to be establishing itself pretty decently, and decent moisture is going to be getting into the system in the upper Midwest, which will provide plenty of moisture, plenty of instability, and that lift aloft will likely fire off some pretty nasty thunderstorm complexes, okay, or MCSs, mesoscale convective systems. I'd anticipate this to develop in Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, somewhere around there, and then it would dive southeast pretty quickly from there, okay? I did not mean to do that. It would likely dive southeast pretty quickly from there, okay, into areas like Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, maybe even Michigan. Okay, this is the type of pattern that would support that, so you guys definitely have to be staying weather aware if you live in those zones, okay? All right, folks, that's all I had for you guys today. Just the note, it's going to get really active, okay? We're going to be entering a more mesoscale type pattern where we have mesoscale convective systems, obviously, and the potential eventually of some derecho-like events in the northern plains, Midwest, and Ohio Valley, Great Lakes vicinity. So I will continue to keep you guys updated as we get closer to those events, but enjoy the rest of your day out there, guys. For now, like, subscribe, comment down below, and also hype the video if you really want to. Stay safe, have a great rest of your day, everybody.